Good morning, afternoon, evening. We often look for blessings in grand gestures, in sudden winds of fortune. We expect them to arrive in loud, unmistakable forms: a new opportunity, a financial windfall, or perhaps a moment of revelation that changes everything. But true blessings, the ones that profoundly shape and uplift our lives, are not always so obvious. They are subtle. They weave themselves into the fabric of our everyday experience in ways that might go unnoticed unless we cultivate the right kind of awareness. As we journey through life, there are moments when we sense something is shifting within us, around us. It's as if life is subtly orchestrating a great change, preparing us for something that is yet to unfold. And these moments, these signs, are often how God prepares us for the blessings that are about to come. So today, let's reflect on 7 signs that God is preparing you for a blessing. 1. The quiet before the storm. When God is preparing us, He often starts with silence. The noise of the world fades away, and we are left in a space of deep reflection. This is not a time to be anxious, but a time to be still. The quiet is God's way of clearing the space within you for something new. When the noise fades, listen carefully. Sometimes it's in the silence that we hear the most important messages. 2. A shift in priorities. As you grow, your desires begin to shift. Things that once seemed important lose their grip on you. You begin to let go of material pursuits, and instead you start focusing on what truly nurtures your soul. This is a sign that God is redirecting your path. He is helping you realign with what will bring you true joy, the things that will prepare you for the blessings He is about to bestow. 3. Restlessness, a call for growth. Restlessness is often misunderstood as discomfort or unease, but in reality it is a call for transformation. If you find yourself feeling unsatisfied with the present, if you feel a yearning for something more, it's a sign that God is stirring something deep within you. He's preparing you for a new chapter, and this restlessness is simply the soul's way of telling you to grow, to expand, to embrace what's next. 4. Challenges as opportunities. You may feel as though you're facing a series of challenges, difficulties that seem to arise just as you think you've overcome one obstacle. But take heart, these challenges are not barriers. They are part of your preparation. They are shaping you, refining you, and making you strong enough to receive the blessing that's on its way. The obstacle is not the end, it is the gateway. 5. People in your life are changing. When God is preparing you for something bigger, your relationships may shift. Some people may fade away, others may come closer. Don't be alarmed. It's part of the divine process. The people around you play a significant role in your transformation. Some will walk with you, some will show you lessons, and others will make space for the new. Trust the process. 6. A newfound clarity. Before a blessing arrives, there is often a moment of clarity. This clarity might not come in a single rush, but may slowly reveal itself as your path becomes clearer. What once seemed foggy or uncertain now appears before you in full detail. This is a sign that you are being prepared to step into a new phase with vision and purpose. 7. A sense of protection. Lastly, as you move toward your blessing, you may begin to feel an increased sense of protection. You might find that, even in moments of hardship, there is a sense of support, as if life is holding you gently in its arms. This protection is not about avoiding difficulty, but about knowing that, no matter what, you are being guided towards something greater. So as you stand at the crossroads of this moment, remember these signs are not coincidences. They are whispers from the universe, nudges from the divine. God is preparing you. It may not look like what you expected, but trust that the blessings that await are more beautiful than you can imagine. They are unfolding, just as you are. Life, in its essence, is not a series of isolated events, but an intricate, ever-unfolding flow. We often view our experiences as distinct moments, neatly categorized into chapters of success, failure, joy, and sorrow. But this perspective limits our understanding of the deeper currents that shape our lives. Just as a river moves through valleys, over rocks, and through forests, its journey continuous and unbroken, so too does life flow through us. Each moment, each encounter, each challenge is but a part of a greater, eternal movement that is constantly reshaping who we are. This infinite flow is ever present, and yet it often remains unseen because we are preoccupied with the things that appear before us, the tangible, the immediate, the things we can control. We want to grasp life, to hold it in place, to dictate the course of its current. But the truth is, life cannot be controlled. It cannot be confined to the narrow edges of our expectations. Like a river that moves through diverse terrains, the flow of life carries us through seasons of change, growth, and transformation that we may not immediately understand. When we let go of the illusion of control, we begin to recognize that everything is connected, that every twist and turn we face in life is part of a grander, more beautiful design. The people we meet, the moments of joy, the struggles, and even the heart actors, they all converge into a symphony, a harmonious dance that we may not yet see, but that is always unfolding. The current of life moves us, and in moving us, it shapes us. In our deepest moments of reflection, we realize that we are not separate from this flow. We are part of it. The river doesn't stop for anyone. It doesn't pause to wait for the rocks to be removed or for the obstacles to be cleared. It simply flows, carving its way through the landscape, taking each turn with grace, knowing that its destination is always unfolding, even if it cannot see the end. In the same way, we are moved by life's current, often without fully knowing where it will lead. But this is the beauty of it. Life is not about having a clear-cut path or a defined endpoint. It's about the journey itself, the unfolding that occurs with every step. We might think that we are the river's guide, but in truth we are the river. We are the flow itself, subject to the natural rhythm of existence. Every choice, every moment of surrender, brings us closer to a deeper understanding of our place in this cosmic current. It's easy to become frustrated when things don't unfold the way we expect, when we encounter turbulence or obstacles that feel insurmountable. But just as the river doesn't stop to resist the rocks in its path, neither should we resist the challenges we face. These challenges, these difficulties, are the very things that shape the direction of our flow. They are the rocks that guide the river, not stop it. They are the catalyst for growth, forcing us to adapt, to change, to become more resilient. And yet, it's not always about overcoming obstacles. Sometimes the flow of life is about accepting what is, about surrendering to the movement, rather than trying to force our own will upon it. We often try to steer the course of our lives, but the most profound transformations happen when we stop trying to control and instead allow ourselves to be moved, like the river, by forces greater than us. In that surrender, we begin to see that the blessings we seek are not somewhere ahead of us in a distant future, but are present in the flow itself, in the act of moving through life, however imperfectly, with trust. When we embrace the infinite flow of life, we open ourselves up to its full potential. We begin to see the interconnectedness of all things, how each moment is both a continuation of what came before and a precursor to what will follow. We learn that there is no destination, that the journey itself is the blessing. The very act of living is the divine current that carries us to where we need to be. There is no need to fight against the flow, because in the end, the river always reaches its destination, as do we. The flow will take us where we are meant to go, and all we need to do is trust the journey. In a world that constantly demands our attention, where noise and distraction are ever present, silence becomes a rare and precious gift. Yet most of us struggle to embrace silence, often perceiving it as uncomfortable or unproductive. We fill our days with sounds, words, and activities because we believe that in doing so, we are fulfilling some higher purpose, keeping ourselves busy, or avoiding the stillness that might otherwise force us to face ourselves. But silence, in its purest form, offers us something far greater than mere quietude. It offers us a profound connection to the present moment and an opportunity for deep inner transformation. Silence is not the absence of sound, but the absence of noise, not just the physical absence of chatter, but the stilling of the mind's constant hum. In silence, we can hear what is truly important, what has been waiting for our attention all along. It is in these moments of quiet that we begin to listen to our inner voice, the one that is often drowned out by the ceaseless demands of the external world. The voice that speaks not in words, but in feelings, intuition, and subtle guidance. This inner voice is always there, guiding us, but we must be willing to sit in silence long enough to hear it. It is in the silence that we learn to become more aware of ourselves. Without the distractions of the world pulling us in every direction, we can begin to understand who we truly are beneath the layers of noise. Our thoughts, our desires, our fears, and our dreams come into sharper focus when we allow ourselves to simply be, without the constant need to do or perform. Silence brings us back to ourselves, allowing us to reconnect with the deeper parts of our being. In this space, we begin to recognize the patterns in our lives, the ways in which we limit ourselves, the fears that hold us back, and the dreams that we have buried under the weight of our busy lives. Through this quiet reflection, we are given the chance to heal, to release, and to rediscover our true nature. Moreover, silence can be a form of surrender. We often fill our lives with noise as a way of controlling our environment, of keeping our minds busy and our hearts distracted. Silence, however, asks us to let go. It invites us to release our need to control, to simply exist without the pressure of constantly striving. In silence, we are reminded that life doesn't need to be forced or overmanaged, it simply needs to be lived. There is a peace in surrendering to this truth, a peace that comes when we stop pushing against the current of life and allow ourselves to float, to trust in the flow of existence. In silence, we become more attuned to this deeper trust, realizing that the universe has its own rhythm and timing, and we are part of that greater dance. The gift of silence also invites us to deepen our connection with the divine. Whether we call it God, the universe, or something else, silence is the space in which we can open ourselves to the sacred. It is often in the quietest moments that we feel the presence of something greater than ourselves. In the absence of words, we are able to connect with the divine energy that surrounds us, filling us with peace, comfort, and a sense of belonging. Silence allows us to align ourselves with this higher power, to receive its guidance and grace without interference from our own noisy minds. In these moments, we experience a sense of unity with the universe, a profound feeling of being part of something far greater than our individual selves. Silence, however, is not just the absence of external noise, it is also a practice of mindfulness. It requires us to be present, to fully inhabit the moment without distraction. In silence, we can appreciate the beauty of the world around us, the simple rustling of leaves in the wind, the soft hum of our breath, the stillness of a sunrise or sunset. These small moments of presence are often overlooked in our busy lives, but in the silence we become attuned to them. We learn to appreciate life as it is, not as we wish it to be, or as it might be in the future. Silence grounds us in the present, reminding us that this moment, right here and right now, is all we truly have. In a world that never stops, silence becomes a radical act. It challenges us to slow down, to reflect, to listen. It invites us to step away from the constant chatter and find peace within ourselves. It is in this silence that we reconnect with the essence of who we are and the greater truth of existence. Far from being empty or passive, silence is full of potential, the potential to heal, to grow, to reconnect with the divine, and to experience life in its truest form. It is indeed one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves. Patience is often misunderstood in our fast-paced world, where everything is expected to happen quickly and efficiently. We live in an era of instant gratification, where answers, entertainment, and even solutions are available at the click of a button. Yet, despite this relentless demand for speed, patience remains one of the most valuable virtues we can cultivate. In its essence, patience is not simply about waiting, it is about how we respond to the spaces between what we desire and when it actually arrives. It is a state of mind, an attitude that recognizes that life does not always unfold according to our timelines, and that there is wisdom in surrendering to the natural rhythm of the universe. At its core, patience is a deep trust in the process of life. It's a recognition that although we may not always understand the reason for delays or setbacks, there is an unfolding at work that is beyond our control. When we practice patience, we let go of our attachment to outcomes, and in doing so, we allow life to reveal itself on its own terms. Just as a seed cannot be rushed to sprout, nor a tree to grow faster than nature allows, our own personal growth and the blessings we seek cannot be hurried. There is an inherent wisdom in waiting. an understanding that the best things in life often take time to come into fruition. Patience is not a passive act, it requires presence. It is not about sitting idly by while life happens to us. Instead, it is about being fully engaged in the process, no matter how long it may take. It is about finding peace and contentment in the here and now, even when the future is uncertain. When we are patient, we are not only waiting for something external to change, but we are also transforming internally. We learn to find stillness amidst the chaos, to quiet the mind's incessant need for control, and to simply trust that the journey itself is enough. Through patience, we realize that we are already where we need to be, that every step, no matter how small, is part of a larger unfolding picture. The art of patience also teaches us the value of persistence. There is a difference between waiting and giving up. Patience does not mean resigning ourselves to inaction, it means continuing to move forward, to grow, and to do our part, even when the results are not immediately visible. It is the quiet strength to endure, to persist through challenges, knowing that each effort, each small step, is contributing to something greater. Life does not always reward the most immediate actions, but rather the sustained ones. Patience teaches us to keep going, even when the path is unclear, and to trust that our efforts will eventually bear fruit in their own time. Moreover, patience brings with it a deep sense of perspective. When we rush through life focused only on the destination, we miss the beauty of the journey. Patience invites us to slow down and appreciate the process. It teaches us to savor the small moments, to notice the subtle shifts that occur along the way. When we are patient, we realize that life is not just about reaching the end goal, it is about what we learn, who we become, and how we grow in the spaces in between. The wait, in essence, is as much a part of the experience as the arrival. Learning patience also involves embracing discomfort. Waiting is often uncomfortable. It is easy to become frustrated or anxious when things are not happening as quickly as we would like. Yet it is in these moments of discomfort that we are truly being tested. Can we remain steady when the world around us feels uncertain? Can we stay grounded when things do not seem to be going our way? Patience teaches us that discomfort is not something to avoid, but something to embrace. It is an invitation to develop resilience, to build a deeper relationship with ourselves, and to strengthen our capacity to endure. Patience is an act of surrender. It is about releasing the need for control and trusting that life, in all its unpredictability, is unfolding in the way that it is meant to. It is a quiet confidence that things will work out, not necessarily on our timeline, but in the perfect timing of the universe. Patience frees us from the anxiety of trying to force things into being, allowing us to move with grace and ease through the inevitable delays and detours of life. In this surrender, we find a peace that cannot be disturbed, for we know that all things the good, the challenging, the uncertain are part of the same beautiful, unfolding story. In the end, patience is not just about waiting, it is about how we wait. It is about how we show up in each moment, trusting that everything is unfolding as it should. It is a practice of deep faith, resilience, and mindfulness. By embracing the art of patience, we open ourselves to life's natural rhythms, finding peace not in the destination, but in the journey itself. As we journey through life, we are often faced with a constant pull between the external demands of the world and the internal guidance of our hearts. In the early stages of our lives, priorities are often shaped by the expectations of others, our parents, society, and the voices around us. We learn what is considered important, what we should strive for, and what we are told will bring happiness and success. These priorities are often rooted in material pursuits, recognition, and the idea of achievement. However, as we grow and evolve, a shift begins to take place within us. The things that once seemed essential begin to lose their hold, and we find ourselves drawn to a deeper, more authentic sense of what truly matters. This shift in priorities can be subtle at first. It might not be immediately clear that something within us is changing. Perhaps it begins with a quiet dissatisfaction, a feeling that what we are chasing no longer resonates with who we have become. We might find ourselves questioning the very goals we once set for ourselves, wondering if they still align with our values or if they were simply goals we inherited from others. The external markers of success, the career, the possessions, the status no longer bring the same sense of fulfillment. At first, this can be disorienting. After all, if we have worked so hard to build our lives around these goals, what does it mean if they no longer matter? But this is where the shift begins. The process of reevaluating our priorities often stems from a deeper awakening. We start to realize that true fulfillment does not come from the accumulation of things or the validation of others. It comes from within, from a sense of inner peace, purpose, and connection. We begin to see that our worth is not determined by what we own, where we work, or how much money we make. Instead, it is determined by how we show up in the world, how we treat others, and how we honor our own sense of truth. As this realization grows, our priorities naturally begin to shift. We start placing more value on relationships, personal growth, and inner well-being than on external accomplishments. This shift in priorities is not about abandoning ambition or success. It is about redefining what success means. It is about recognizing that there is more to life than the traditional markers of achievement. We begin to place greater importance on experiences that nourish our soul, time spent with loved ones, moments of quiet reflection, acts of kindness, and the pursuit of passions that bring us joy. We may find ourselves becoming less interested in material possessions, understanding that they do not provide lasting happiness. Instead, we seek richness in the intangible aspects of life: love, connection, creativity, and spiritual growth. This is not a rejection of the material world, but a reorientation of our relationship with it. We start to understand that true wealth lies not in what we have, but in who we are and how we live. As this shift in priorities takes place, we may find that certain people and situations begin to fall away from our lives. The relationships and activities that once felt important might no longer hold the same significance. This can be a painful aspect of the shift as we let go of things that no longer serve us, but it is also a necessary part of the process. When we begin to prioritize what truly matters, we make space for new experiences, new relationships, and new opportunities that align with our evolving values. We create room for deeper connections, for people who understand and support the journey we are on, and for experiences that bring us closer to our true selves. The shift in priorities is also an invitation to slow down and embrace the present moment. In a world that constantly pushes us to do more, be more, and achieve more, this shift is a radical act of self-care and self-awareness. It is about stepping away from the relentless pursuit of external goals and turning inward, focusing on the things that bring us peace and fulfillment. By slowing down, we learn to savor the simple joys of life: a quiet morning, a meaningful conversation, a walk in nature. We begin to see that life is not about reaching a destination, but about living fully in each moment, embracing both the beauty and the challenges that come our way. This transformation is not always easy. It requires courage to face the discomfort of letting go of old beliefs and priorities. It requires trust in the process of change and in the understanding that the journey of life is an ongoing evolution. But as we embrace this shift, we begin to experience a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment. We start to realize that we are not meant to chase after things that drain us, but to seek out what nurtures our souls. As our priorities shift, so too does our experience of life. We begin to live more authentically, aligned with our true purpose and values, and we find that in doing so, we are more deeply connected to the world around us. This shift in priorities is not just a change in what we value, but a transformation in how we live, love, and experience the world. Change is a constant and inevitable force in life, yet many of us struggle with it. It can feel unsettling, even overwhelming, to face the unknown, to let go of what we know and step into something new. We may resist change, clinging to the familiar out of fear, comfort, or a sense of security. But in resisting change, we also resist growth, and we miss out on the transformative power that change can bring. Embracing change is not about passively accepting everything that comes our way, but about actively choosing to adapt, to evolve, and to see the opportunities that change presents. It is about learning to dance with the flow of life rather than trying to control it. The first step in embracing change is recognizing that it is an essential part of life. Everything around us is in a state of constant flux. The seasons change, relationships evolve, our careers shift, and our own personal growth leads us down new paths. Life is never static. What we experience today will not be the same tomorrow. And this is not something to fear, but something to celebrate. Change is the process through which life unfolds, through which we evolve and grow. Without it, we would remain stagnant, trapped in the same patterns, never reaching our fullest potential. When we resist change, we create tension within ourselves. We may find ourselves holding on to the past, wishing things could stay the same, or trying to control the future to avoid uncertainty. But this resistance only brings suffering. Change, by its very nature, cannot be avoided. It will happen whether we are ready or not, and the more we resist it, the more we prolong the discomfort. It is only by accepting change, by embracing it, that we can move through it with grace and ease. Thanks for watching.